in the UK. But a question to the Foreign Ministry. So the Commonwealth Business and Trade Summit in Dhaka later this year is definitely having a great exposure to Bangladesh within Commonwealth countries.
Federation of Business Chambers and Industries of Bangladesh organized an international event only last year to celebrate the Golden Jubilee of their association. And there too we attracted foreign investments and businesses. I mean, may I just quickly, humbly remind dear journalist friend from the UK is that in last little over 10 years or so, Bangladesh laid out a plan to set up 100 different economic zones. A good 20 of them are up and running. That includes a specific one for Japanese investment, a specific one for Indian and the Chinese as well. And there are numerous local entrepreneurs who are going on to invest. And we are also investing in deep sea ports. We have worked on the power generation, even though we do have slight issues at the moment that hopefully will be addressed in the next 2 weeks or so. It's down to the supply chain management of power generation. It's not that we do not have enough. We have plenty, so to speak, but whether we want to spend the precise precious dollar to buy a higher price fuel. But coming back to in answering your question is we have seen growth in our export in recent times. There are renewed enthusiasm and the connectivity that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government created to access Nepal, Bhutan and Indian Northeast doubles the size of Bangladesh in a way as far as commercial market and products are concerned. So this is a news to many of the investors in FMCG sector, in infrastructural sector, and also in shipping and transportation as well. So yes, Bangladesh is ready. It's not just very recent, it's for a decade now.
I'd just like to add to that is that there's the other up to the village level, and Bangladesh today has the second largest huge opportunity. We have a number of startups in the Commonwealth countries. There's a lot of work being done on, and I can assure you that we have that our environment is now fully ready for absorbing that technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have one more question for
Bangladesh over the last 15 years. I think you're using the high population as a strength rather than a weakness. But my question is, how did you achieve that?
It's a good question. Many people ask me that question. So what actually, what Prime Minister actually did was that the first thing she did was she went in for, she realized that electricity is very, very important. So immediately after she came to power, she took a crash program for increasing the electricity generation. For the first 5 years, we introduced a program which was called rental power. That was, and we set a benchmark and allowed the private sector, both local, domestic private sector as well as the foreign private sector to come and invest in a crash program on rental power. And then simultaneously, in parallel, we also did what is called the long-term power purchase agreements, 15 years, 20 years. And so, which I mentioned in my opening remarks, that from 4,000 megawatts, we are today up to 24,000 megawatts. So that was the first thing which was very much needed. But until and unless you have electricity and power, that's basically the engine of growth. The second thing which we achieved was connectivity, infrastructure. So both rural infrastructure as well as connectivity, highways between the major cities, improving our ports. The Chittagong port was made much more efficient, it was expanded, and we also then went in for the rural economy. That was very, very important because 80% of our people are living in the rural area. So there again, connectivity, electricity went there, connectivity went there. The other thing which we have done is we have invested very, very heavily in health and education. And and that speaks for itself. Today in South Asia, Bangladesh has the lowest infant mortality rate. We have the highest life expectancy rate. We reduced our poverty from 40% down to 18%, and extreme poverty we have now reduced it to 7-8%. And so this is again, so the social factors. I already mentioned in my opening remarks how successful our agriculture sector has been. We have helped the farmers grow more food. We have given them subsidized fertilizer. So all of these programs actually helped us to achieve this economy. We are still going on. We have got very ambitious. I mentioned about the digital connectivity which we established, and what is now most important, two things are very, very important. The other is that women empowerment. Prime Minister has really gone for women empowerment, and has more than 50%, 50 plus like percent are women in Bangladesh, and their empowerment has been very, very, you know, our main industry is textile. We are the second largest producers of garments in the world, second largest exporter of garments in the world. And there the majority of the workers in the garment trade are women. And since we have empowering the women has also had many social ramifications. So before we could empower the woman in a family, having a girl child was considered a liability. And the family would like to marry her off as quickly as possible. And by the time she was 19, 20, she would have 2 or 3 children. But once she started earning herself, she became the bread earner. Then she took the decision. She said, I will get married when I want to. And because she became the bread earner for the family. So that had also tremendous social change. So women empowerment was another area. The other area is, of course, Bangladesh, as you know, sustainability for us is very important. Climate change is going to affect us very badly. We are in the Bay of Bengal, little bit rise in the ocean. 1/3 of Bangladesh will go underwater. So that's another area where we have been working very, very hard. So there are a number of factors, but these are, I just highlighted a few of them which has actually, you wanted to know how we achieved it. These are some of the few factors which I just wanted to highlight. Thank you.